Hello, everyone. Dr. Allen here. Hope you had a great first week of classes. It was great seeing everyone's names and faces together with the Google Arts and Culture. We're going to go ahead and jump into week two. It's going to be websites, and I'm going to do a little bit of an overview, and we'll go from there. I'll try to keep the video somewhat short. My goal is 15 minutes. We'll try my best. And also, I will apologize if you see me drinking a lot of water or coughing. I'm fighting a little bit of a chest cold, so I want to make sure I'll try to avoid all of that on this video. But if it happens, I do apologize. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into 380. It's a little slow today with their loading and stuff. Sorry, I'm working on my home computer, which is normally okay, but the internet's kind of went in and out a little bit today, and I don't have my multiple screens to be sliding things around. That was my hand sliding things around. All right, we'll have everything under week two this week. This week, we're going to look at 21st century skills, creating a website. If I don't get the 21st century skills this week, I will make sure to get to them next week. It's not a live or die thing right at the moment. We'll be looking at creating a website. I'm going to talk about the importance of websites. With learning management systems, they've kind of went out of vogue. They were very popular in classrooms in the 2000s and the early 2010s. And then as things like Schoology, Brightspace, Canvas, Google Classroom came, once they started to come into the school systems in K through 12, websites kind of have fallen a little bit out of favor or vogue. I think there's still something to them, mainly because a lot of people end up switching counties or jobs every once in a while in their career, and at least the website gives you a home base where your stuff is yours. You don't have to worry about losing it because you've switched or things like that. Um, Also, I've had students create websites. Might be something where you're doing a project you want to create them. So we're going to look at it. Maybe something that you never do because of learning management systems, but I feel like it also helps with a little bit of intuitiveness in terms of working with the technology. You will get your choice. You will either do a Weebly, a Wix, a Google Sites, WordPress, and make sure you have a Google account. That's for the whole duration of the class. It'll help a lot. I have a feeling most of you have one. Personally, I use Weebly the most. What I'm going to show you is Google Sites today. I usually pick one of the technologies so the videos don't get too long, and I have YouTube videos up, which are usually, well, I shouldn't even say usually, are always more polished than anything that I do. Uh, the main reason I've went to Google Sites is because I think it's the most simplistic, and there's probably a better chance most of you will use that over the others. But that being said, I really like Weebly. I've used it a lot. I've used it when I taught in K to 12. I had my middle schoolers make Weebly sites, so I'll show you them. They're kind of plug and play. And if I don't say it later in this video, you will see things, especially on Weebly and Wix, about paying. You do not need to upgrade your accounts. Everything you do in this class is related to free accounts. So don't do any upgrades or feel like you have to pay to do something. If you can't do it with the free version of the account of the program, don't do it. So, okay, I think that's it. There's a PowerPoint on here. There's a few old terms on here I will kind of correct. I've had this for a while and I need to update it. Like I see a reference at the very end on Sakai, which is our old learning management system, and we have Brightspace now. So anyway, all right, websites and e-planning. We will not do e-planning today. I'm going to move that towards another date. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of websites. Well, I have a website. There's advantages for teachers, students, and parents in terms of having a website. Most of the time, it has to do with transparency and ease and having access to materials. But we're in the 21st century. I mean, we're a quarter of the way through the 21st century. If you don't have a website or at least use something as an announcement on your learning management system, definitely behind the times. So, what are some advantages for a teacher to have a website? Paperless. It's more environmentally friendly. There's accountability. If you post something, if someone says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I left my worksheet at in my desk," well, if you have it posted, there's no excuse. It's there. There's accountability. You can print it. It can also help with some differentiated instruction in terms of if you have to provide handouts to students and they would happen to have the handout and again forget it. It may be something they have quicker access to if the PowerPoint's online. Their parents maybe can print it out for them. Also, you can tier some types of instruction. You can specialize and open things specifically for certain students if need be. So there's advantages there. It also helps with organization and management. Basically, it's an easy place to find things and to locate things. I liked it because when I was doing my prep, I put everything up on my website. So when I was instructing, I knew where it was. I had an Apple TV, so I would just mirror it up. I could pull my website up. My PowerPoints were there. We were talking about a specific handout. I could pull it up and it made me get organized. So that's one reason I liked it. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can also use it for newsletters, blogs, announcements, and things like that. I know learning management systems do a lot of this now. But again, if you have your own website, you don't have to worry about losing it if you switch jobs or anything like that. And most of the places, sometimes the learning management systems have the ability to let you create your own website and you can just move stuff over if need be. For students, there's ways, they can collaborate if they need to look at things together. They can do it easily on their phone or devices. It also provides a home base, so to speak. If they're absent or the teacher's absent, you can post things. The student's absent, they can find the PowerPoints, the handouts, any materials that you might have on there, and maybe it'll help them not get too far behind. Also, again, for teachers, if they're out, they might be able to post something for students to look at for the sub. So again, it just gives it that home base or that continuation of things. And again, I mentioned this, but it brings the classroom into the 21st century. It's just more relevant. It doesn't look archaic. I'm sure most of you have had professors or teachers who are like, no, 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 technology. I'm all for old school in some regards, but at this point, again, we're a quarter of the way through the 21st century. It's kind of expected to have some sort of LMS, learning management system, or website associated with your class for access to information. At Shepherd, I'll say this because it is we're supposed to have all of our syllabi posted on Brightspace so students have access to it. Mentioned environmentally friendly because they're posted. You can pull up and look at it. You can look at it on your phone. You can look at it wherever. So again, it's modernization. For parents, this is a big one. It provides a location for parents to check on information. It allows a little bit of transparency, what's going on in your class, and it helps parents find tools that might help them help their students at home if you have homework or assignments that students are trying to do, directions. It also makes parents a little more on the ball, especially if you use it for announcements and things, because they know they can check someplace and see what's going on. Even though it is a learning management system, excuse me, I'm sorry. Even though it's a learning management system, my son's school uses Google Classroom. I know that I can look at that. And I don't want to, and I'm not encouraging you to encourage your parents to helicopter or snowplow or anything, but it is nice to be able to go check and say, hey, son, did you do this? It's posted on here. Your teacher clearly had it posted. Hey, you know what? I see this was up. Did you do this? That's kind of how I use it. And if I get a yes or no, or it's a no, I'm like, you need to get on it, do it. So there's some things for parents. I mentioned this. These are the ones we're going to look at. There will be YouTube videos up for all of these. I use Weebly. I'll show you what my site looked like. Google is what I'm going to show you, though. I know it says we'll focus on Weebly and Wix, old video. Weebly and Wix are actually plug and play type websites, meaning that you can design them simply by dragging and dropping the tool that you want to use. Weebly actually is pretty easy to sign up for accounts, and students can actually use it to make like websites and all. And I actually did that with sixth graders, and it was actually kind of fun. I'll show you an example. Here's what my site looked like. This was my Weebly site, and as you can see, I had 8th, 7th, 6th, social studies fair materials, National History Day, History Bowl, announcements. This was the year I did this. I didn't, but I went ahead and added it. I had to do it. I have an English minor, and I had to teach one section of language arts. I had a temporary cert. They were desperate. I taught language arts, and I kept all my materials on the website just in case I ever had to teach that class again. And as you can see, when I'm talking about plug and play, basically what I'm saying is on Weebly, you'll take like the title, you click it, and you drag it and drop it. And then it'll say title. I'm pointing like you can see it, but it'll say title. And then I just type in my title, Dr. Allen's social studies class. If I want to add an image, I just click it and drop it, and then I insert the image when I click in the box. If I need to add pages, like this was the home page, if I wanted to add an eighth grade, maybe I want to add a ninth grade social studies, I'd hit pages and there's a little plus sign, hit plus, there you go. And of course, you can do the ever popular YouTubes and you can drag them over and drop them. So, and then you just find a YouTube and it'll embed it on the video screen. So you can see I kept mine pretty basic. Students basically could just click on the links in the handouts. I always like PDFs because I thought PDFs were something that pretty much anyone could open. You didn't get into, I only have Pages because of Apple, or I only have PowerPoint, and I was like, PDFs, we just did PDFs. That's just a suggestion, not a rule. And like I said, I had my students create websites one year. This was a student sample where we did World War I research, and someone had to pick a place, a person, an event, and they had to do a homepage, a bio on the event or person, and they had to post a YouTube video. And then they published it and sent me the link, and I checked it out. We'll talk about the assignment here in a few seconds, but I'll just kind of give you an overview. You're going to sign up for and make either a Weebly, Wix, Google website. Again, I'll have videos up. If you're familiar with one or something that I'm not talking about and you want to make a website with that, that's fine. Let me know. I'm not picky. I just want you to make a website. And it's only going to have like 3 or 4 aspects to it. Nothing too complicated. We're kind of in this class going to go in and we're out. Like touchdown. You're going to create the brief website. You're going to have a title page. You're going to have a sub page with a header. And you're going to put something on that sub page. It can be a handout. It can be a video, anything like that. You're going to publish the page and you're going to submit that. A couple of things when you do a submission with a link. You need to submit it on a Word document in Brightspace most of the time. Usually you have to open a Word document and put the link on the Word document. It won't sometimes take it in the box. Don't worry about Sakai. I mentioned this, but it's Brightspace. It's a little old. And we're not going to do e-planning, so let me jump out of here. Let me hit one thing here. And sorry if there was a little pause there. I was coughing a little bit, and I didn't think you all wanted to hear that. Like I said, I was fighting a cold. Here's the assignment if you need it in a little more detail. And this is posted, but again, same thing. It was just on the website. Don't worry about Sakai. I'm going to update that before I actually post this for you all. And actually, I think it is updated on here. So, and I will fix the due date. I know that's from Paulson. Don't worry about it. It's due next Sunday. So let me just fix that right now while we're here. I know this is the most riveting thing, but I'll forget to do it for you, and I don't want you to worry about it. Go and fix these dates. There we go. Seven. Because it's due 7. Remember that. I didn't want you to have bad info. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at a website so you know what's going on. And if we look here, this was one that I need. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get out of that. All right, make sure I'm going to show you Google. You do not have to use Google if you don't want to. I think it's probably the simplest one to use. And I think I've had people in the past who have used Weebly and done awesome sites. I've had people who wanted to strangle me because I think Weebly drives them nuts, or Wix. If you've used those, though, feel free to give them a shot. But you're just going to go to Google. Again, make sure you have your Google login, your Google account. It's usually up on here. For some reason, my Google Sites is not showing. So if that happens to you, all you have to simply do is do a Google search for Google Sites, and it'll take you right to it. And voila. You'll just hit, sorry, I'm gonna move my face up here. You just hit blank site. And voila, here's what we're going to do. You're going to go in here, you're going to title your page. I'm going to go with world history. You know what? We'll be all world history. I like when they kind of have the order here, so we'll just do that. You can change your background, you can change your image. That's all fine. You want to put something down here, all you need to do is insert. So you can embed things, you can embed codes, you can do videos, you can do images. So for example, we can hit that, select, and let's select an image. Let's do Google Images. Let's do world history. And I like that one. Insert it. As you can see, it goes right there. So basically, I went and insert as soon as I started to build it. And I'll go back to that. I did that a little quick. So, and you can reformat it and size it however you like. We'll do this. All world here yet, but you get the point. I like a little bit of jazz on the websites. I think it looks good. Okay, that's your home page. Again, you just type it, you hit insert, you can, with your text box, if you want to put text, your images, you can embed videos, things from your Google Drive. You want to do another page, which you have to do. You're going to hit pages. You're going to hit this plus sign. We want a new page. So we're going to hit that. The new page is, we're going to do French Revolution. Okay. Now, I have my French Revolution. As you can see, we have our home page. We have our French Revolution page right there. We're going to hit insert. We're going to, let's do, we said we have to do what? A link or video. Let's do an embed. So let's go to YouTube. I got so much stuff open. This is ridiculous. I'm missing a double screen, but that's okay. I'm going to hit YouTube French Revolution and see what pops up. That'll be perfect. All right. I don't care if you embed the video or just give me the link. Either one works. Um, there are different ways to get the video. Sorry.
Hi, I'm John Green, and this is Crash Course European History. So
I don't want to write that. We'll just do this. And copy. And we'll put that in there. So you can see you can also embed it. I'll show you that here in a sec if you want. But you can do this. And I think the link does a pretty good job if I remember correctly. There we go. So you can just put it in like that. I think that's fine. If you want the embed code, there are usually on there when you share. If you share it, if you go down there, you can click that and get the embed code. You can put that right in there. You can just copy it. So let's do that just to show you. And I'll tell you what, I'll click that out and we'll hit embed. I haven't done an embed for a little bit, so let's see how it looks. Might be a bad move. Let's see. See, it kind of does the same thing. So might be even a little nicer the other way, but that's all right. You can move it over. You got to put that on there. That's kind of it. I just want you to fiddle around a little bit. If you want to add more, if you want to add docs, if you want to add pages, as you can see, there's spacers down here. There's more YouTube links that you can use. As you can see, you can just look for YouTube videos and type them in. I kind of did it a little long way around. You can do calendar. You can add sheets, anything. The big thing is, though, I need to have three things. I need to have a home page with a little bit of flash, a second page, and you need to post something on the second page. And then you need to do this. Let's title this history. You need to publish the site. That's fine. Publish. And then you're going to share it. And there should be that should be it right there, but that's all right. We're going to make sure I got it. Link. We're going to copy that link. I don't hope you didn't see it. I'm just talking to myself and blocking myself out. Share the site. After you publish it, if you need to publish it, hit that publish link site, copy link. That's what you're going to submit. Again, you might have to put it on a Google Doc or on a Word document and submit that and put that on Brightspace. But that's it. That's all you need to do for this assignment. Then let's go back. Sorry, I got all this stuff open. Ah! We're going to X out of that, X out of a lot of this. Sorry, I feel like I'm just coughing while I'm making this video. I'm probably making odd cold noises. All right. Once you have that, you're going to submit it, and that should do it. But before we do all that, before I wrap up, just want to make note. Don't worry about that. This will be open, hopefully a little early. You're going to do one of the technologies. You're going to create the website, obviously. You're going to blog on the website. So 2 sentences, 3 sentences on whether you like making a website or not. Would you use the website? Do you think it's a functional tool? Again, I don't have any stock in any of these. So if you think it's something you won't use because of learning management system, that's fine. If it's something you think you may have your students do or something like that, please comment on it. There is a second discussion post. It is on chapter 1 of Tech Like a Pirate. Please make sure you do that. And the discussion link will be here. And as you can see, let me go down here, failure. Don't worry, that's just the title of it. It's nothing bad. It's just something about like learning from mistakes and all. He talks about that in chapter 1. So I just want to kind of get your feedback on, why do you think, do you think teachers are afraid to fail, or why do you think they're scared to fail? And do you think that Miller, the author, is actually fair in making that assumption? Why not? There's a little more, if you want a little more info on that, there's an Edutopia link put on there. So 3 assignments this week: create a website, blog on the website, do the discussion. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. So with that being said, thank you all very much. And I do apologize. I know it's probably a little nasally and coffee and kind of gross. Luckily, that's the beauty of being online. Hopefully I'll be sounding a little better next week. Like I say, everything so far has been wonderful. If you need anything, I'm in office 114C in Canute Hall. Feel free to stop by or email any questions. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop everything and say have a good week.